Hi everybody and welcome to Spiritually Awakening World. This is Bates Reed and we are embarking on a journey of consciousness, and many of you have had a chance to review the introduction video. It has an orange background just like this one, and I hope you'll take the time to look at that if you happen to see this video first. It will put into perspective who we are, where we're coming from, what we're doing, what our contracts are, what we came here to do as light beings, not knowing we are not supposed to be participating in a world that is run by money, greed, power, and all the things that are causing the destruction on the third dimensional plane that we now see. Mother Earth is shaking herself up, but it's the consciousness. It's more than what any one man can say he thinks he knows about it. So in all of that, Spiritually Awakening World, we knew 2020 was coming. Welcome to 2020. It is here. And I just want to say welcome. This is a 2020 visioning video for basically bringing consciousness into unity and knowing that that is the equality of what we are here to do. In consciousness, we find absolute unity. In non-consciousness, or three-dimensional reality, ego, we find separation. We find a world that you see out there with politicians and people that see money as their God rather than God and source and truth and the light of who we are. That's been passed down through traditions. But go check out that video. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that today because we have a lot to go through, because so many amazing things, literally, that I could have only dreamed of, that I did dream of, that I felt like were coming, that you felt like were coming in the year 2020, are upon us, and the doors are open. And I'm going to show you what happened in my life and in some other people's lives this weekend when we went to the visioning, the 2020 visioning that John Springer and Kathy Springer and all of their partners put forward. John Springer is now an ambassador of light for Spiritually Awakening Atlanta, Georgia. As we open more and more cities and more of you come on board as ambassadors of your city, the objective is to create a place where we can hold a vision of changing this world, not just talking about it, but we see already things like the 8 major rivers in the world, that they have created machines, boats that will clear those rivers to stop more additional plastics and sewage and that kind of thing from going into our oceans, which are killing those animals in our oceans. Part of what's killing them, of course. But it is these kinds of things occurring in consciousness by our brothers and sisters around the world that are going to explode. And they are exploding now. And in 2020, with the rise of the Aquarius, with us finishing our downward motion for millennia, for many civilizations, from the time when we came to this hell planet, to now we're starting to wake up and actually manifest with God, through God, knowing the Christ consciousness, knowing those teachers, knowing Jesus Christ, knowing why they came here, not for religious reasons, because they came here not for religious reasons. They came here to give us guide and to point in a direction that we, as the souls, as the angels that came here to fulfill a contract, can fulfill. So let's move on. That's the beauty of it. That is what they don't talk about in religion. That is what has been misconstrued. So as we move forward, let's talk about this consciousness and unity. I'd like to talk about consciousness and unity because when you're working in the consciousness of God, of source, of light, the vision is the same. It may look different a little bit because you have a gift to share. And that gift you have to share is your gift. It's an archetype of what you have been trained on this planet to do in order to fill your contract. As an angel, as a light being that came here, there was something we've had to unlearn and relearn about our souls and our soul contracts. And now is the time, the ascension of humankind, of this planet. Mother Earth is the living being she is. Now is the time for us to put all of that work into action. The 3D world is a world in chaos. It's fragmented. It's divided beyond division through religion after religion after religion. Inside you is the Christ. Inside you is that light. So what's happening now in that light of who we are? We're waking up to remember, and it's time to do our work, because as we see a world in crisis, are we going to just stand around and talk about it? Or are you ready to stand up as an ambassador of light in your own city? Call me, text me on these videos and say, I'm ready to stand up as an ambassador of light to hold space in my city. The idea, the concept is here. We have a planet, and within that planet we have countries and continents. And we are going to now begin to connect all of the cities with people just like you, just like me, just like the people I'm going to tell you I met this weekend, or new faces along with the old faces that are now standing up and doing their work, because it is the time for conscious awakening, for you to find your superpower. You know what it is, and many of us know what our gifts are, but we haven't spoken them out loud, nor have we taken a stand in our life to say, I am holding the light. I am holding myself as an ambassador of light, and I'm going to stand right here, and I'm going to let other people know I am right here in Crossville, Tennessee, or in Chattanooga, or Atlanta, or in Florida somewhere, or in Hiawassee, Georgia, or in St. Paul, Minnesota, or the Twin Cities, Minnesota. We have cities popping up everywhere where people just like you are ready to take their stand. Now, why are we taking the stand? Why must we connect this way? One of my gifts is that I simply build bridges. I've built them my whole life. And the bridges always look different, but they were about people. They were about their gifts. I had to fine-tune those gifts through my spiritual development, through my prayer. Every thought is a prayer. Through my meditation, through my relationship with God, through my personal relationship with Jesus. I use Jesus as that way shore, because he manifested here, no matter whether you believe whatever you believe. But if he did manifest, and I believe he did, I came here to build a relationship with him. And due to religion, we've talked about this before, I went off in a different direction for a long time because I threw the baby out with the bathwater. Now it's time for us all, whatever it is, however we've come to this place of being who we are, it's time to stand in that light and be powerful. And know that as a being of light, nothing can harm. It might even eat you. What if it ate you when you were the light? You take your sword, split it open, and come out. There's nothing left to fear besides the ugly in the third dimensional world. And that is what we are here to change. So let's talk about how we do that. We are creating these cities of light. Right now we have about 15 in place. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick prayer. And that prayer is, I wrote it down here. I call in all of my brothers and sisters from the south, east, west, and north. Bring your gifts. Bring your talents and treasures. It is time to bring them forward in your own communities and in the world. This isn't like a religious show, Father. This is not a religious thing where we're saying, bring me money so I can buy a new Corvette or a jet plane because I need it for my congregation. Jesus said, come out of the church. Come out of that way of thinking, because what we are doing comes from within us. We were also taught it comes from within. So that's where we're pulling our strength. And in that, we have developed such powerful gifts. We have become geniuses in our own work, in our own archetypal energy. We've had to learn and remember to define that in something that we can understand. So the good news is I missed the New Year's event in Asheville. And I know there were about 130 people there, but I got to go to the next day because I was working a double shift doing some hospice care. But the next morning I got up, I drove to Asheville with Timothy Young, my helpmate here in doing a lot of the work I'm doing. And after that day of awakening, knowing that something was coming here for 2020, this is what showed up. All of our gifts each of us will be utilized in our pods of light and communities as we develop them. So if we're developing them in Atlanta and Florida and Georgia, a young man, 20 years old, contacted me last week from Venezuela. These people are going to have begun taking their places, and they're just standing there holding the light. And while we have the internet, while we have the ability to connect with each other, we will hold places in our own cities, and then we will get to know people in surrounding cities. So as earth changes occur, we know where to go. We know where the pods of light are developing, where people of like mind, where safe havens of love and light will gather. That is your job. That is my job. That is all of our jobs. But we can't do it until we stand up and say, I'm going to stand here so people can find me. I call to you as my brothers and sisters from the north, the south, the east, the west. My name is Bates Reed. I live in Crossville, Tennessee. Use this prayer. Call in the gifts, the resources that we will need to do the work. The vision. Why are we doing it? We must change the world. It is up to us to bring in the fifth dimensional reality. Each and every one of us that are conscious, each and every one of us that are awakening. Do you get the importance of who you are? A place where you can connect with other light workers and fill in the puzzle piece of your work to design the new world. The world of consciousness where love guides us, not hate, not greed. So in that, as we build these communities, people will come together. They'll just be drawn to the pods, and each of them will have an archetype that it will take. Then, of course, using what we're doing as a unity, spiritually awakening world, as one source, working with God, through source, through light, through love, to use our gifts for us to be able to buy into what we are creating in each of our communities. We must all have a job, and it's not up to somebody to say your job is this. It's up for you to say my gift is this, and this is what I bring to the table. This is how it's changing. This is what's changing. But we are still at that place where some people have not yet stepped over the line and said, I stand here in my light. I stand right here in my light, and I'm going to stand here. And when you come, we're going to do an event every week, maybe once a month to start. But the point is, it's consistent. And then as y'all meet, you're going to run into people like this. After we had this event it ended on New Year's Day. 7 of us went to dinner, and sitting around that table, we began to talk and began to ask the questions of who we are and what we're here to do. 7 archetypes showed up, and I want to show you who these people are, because this is what will happen in each of our communities, in your community, as we bring about this awareness and this consciousness. I'm not going to use names right now. I don't even remember everybody's names. I remember most of them, but these are new people that are ready, and they're stepping up in their city. These people mostly came from Atlanta. So this is a great start. There already is an intentional and sustainable community in Atlanta. So as the world shifts, we're building communities to create safe havens of light and expansions of consciousness and light so that we move the world into its fifth dimensional frequency timeline. That is heaven on earth, the way we see it. We all may call it different things. We may have a little different twist on it, but that's the gift you bring. Your gift is your gift, and that's the power in it. So, as we begin to pull together these communities, the first step, text me back. My name is so-and-so. Friend me. And then we will build a page on Facebook for your city. Spiritually Awakening Atlanta, Georgia. Spiritually Awakening Chattanooga, Tennessee. Spiritually Awakening Los Angeles, California. Spiritually Awakening Miami, Florida. Wherever. And then we take all of this internationally to cities all over the world. And we begin to light up pods of light with you holding the space as we come together. This is what happens with one city. Thank you, John, for being so open about making sure people know what we're doing here, because John has a story of his own in a way that community came together for a different group of people. However, he's seen it work that way. So I'm just going to share with what the vision is bringing forth in my life. Let me share first. I asked everybody at the table, okay, share with me your gift. What is your gift? They said, well, share with me yours. So I'm like, okay, What are my gifts? What have I learned in this world? I connect people. My jobs, from the Orlando Convention and Visitors Bureau for 8 years, to design and event companies, to adventure companies, I move people around the planet. That's been a job of mine. It's just my job. I took those jobs as contract to learn how to do the work I do. I also hold space of love. I'm a minister and a teacher. I don't really identify with those old words anymore. I'm an energy partner of people, and I connect people to people. Those are some of my archetypal type gifts. And then all the jobs I've had have gone into creating the different aspects of all the things I will bring up here. So those are some of my gifts. So now begin to think of yourself and what are your gifts? Here are what these people brought to the table. And every single one of them is absolutely incremental. And as you meet these people in your pods of light, as they develop, as you stand in the line and allow them to come forward, and you all gather together, we will begin a great change, a great shift on this entire planet. First person that we sat around this long table, 7 of us. The first one to my left. He's a language writer in the dynamic governance model. He can help and assist us, you included, as he opens up his offering when it comes, whether it's in Atlanta or you call into another city for his help. As he opens up the way for you to speak dynamically to people so they understand what you're doing in your city as we build sustainable, intentional, spiritual communities around the world. These will be known, these are being known already as the pods of light. We've known about them, we've had the downloads on them, I've had them, you've had them, others have had them. If you didn't get